This is American history for October the 19th, 2020. Well, the year is 1804 and it is time for a presidential election year. The Democrat-Republicans are going to renominate Thomas Jefferson. The Federalists are going to turn to Charles Pinckney, as in Pinckney's Treaty. Now, in this election, you can see that it is a fairly easy victory for Thomas Jefferson. He is going to win the lion's share of the electoral college votes. Now, notice again, there are no popular votes. What about Aaron Burr? Aaron Burr had been the center of attention in 1800 when he and Jefferson are going to tie. We know that Aaron Burr will be denied the presidency when Alexander Hamilton tells the New York delegation to vote for Jefferson. Well, Burr took this personally, and Burr will challenge Hamilton to a duel several years after this event. Although Hamilton shot into the air to clear his name, Burr is going to kill Hamilton. Later, Burr will travel to the Louisiana Territory, and he will take a small piece of what is now Louisiana and try to sell it back to the Spanish. Like Washington, Jefferson's second term is going to be filled with foreign affairs. Now, during Washington's time in office, Washington had come across a group of pirates called the Barbary Pirates. Now, the Barbary Pirates are found here in the northern part of Africa. And to not mess with the Barbary Pirates, Washington is going to pay them tribute. Now, in 1804, when the Barbary Pirates asked for more tribute, Jefferson is going to send the USS Philadelphia to stop the Barbary Pirates. Unfortunately for the Philadelphia is going to run aground, and most of its crew is going to be captured by the Barbary Pirates. The U.S. decides that instead of paying tribute to the Barbary Pirates for protection and to get our men back, Jefferson sends even more ships into the waters. Now, the Navy is unable to pull the Philadelphia off of the sandbar it's stuck on, so the Navy will burn the USS Philadelphia. It will then attack the stronghold of the Barbary Pirates in Tripoli. Now, it is from the Battle of Tripoli that one of the lines from the Marine Corps hymn will be created. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Here's a brief biography of what this event entitled. The British had won a great victory over the French Navy off of the coast of Spain. We call this the Battle of Trafalgar. Now, because of this, the British are then going to try to close all of the ports that could service the French army. This closing of French ports is called the Orders of Council. Now, not to be outdone, the French are going to close all British ports through something called the Berlin Decree. Now, the question is, which nation, France or Great Britain, had the bigger navy? Well, that would be Great Britain. And so Great Britain is going to be able to enforce its Orders of Council. Not so much for the Berlin Decree. American merchant ships had seen a chance for profit in selling to both sides. Now, the Americans were not harassed as they tried to sell to the British because the French did not have the Navy to stop the Americans. The British, though, did have the Navy to stop the Americans from helping out the French. Now, to prevent the French from receiving goods, the blockade stopped all American ships. The cargo was confiscated and the crew was taken to Great Britain. This is what we call impressment. Now, impressment, again, is where the British warships will stop American merchant ships. Several of the American crews will be taken off and impressed into the British Navy. But the British took impressment one step closer. In 1807, the USS Chesapeake, which is an American frigate who had just been built, is sailing to its home port in Virginia. It is going to be stopped by the HMS Leopard. Now, the Leopard is going to come to the Chesapeake. It's going to try to board the Chesapeake. Americans will try to stop the Leopard, and the Leopard will kill 3 Americans. Once the British crew got on board, they are going to impress 4 United States Navy sailors. Now here, a British warship has stopped an American warship and declared that its crew should get off. This is an act of war. Many in Congress felt that there needed to be military action, that the American military should kick the British out of Canada, kick the British out of the Ohio River Valley. The media began to refer to these congressmen as war hawks. Jefferson's solution was called the Embargo Act. Now, the Embargo Act is going to forbid American ships from leaving port or entering port. So all American ships are to stay in American ports. They are not to leave. Now, this is going to cause a great deal of economic suffering to Great Britain. This will increase the power of the federal branch, and in particular, the President of the United States. Now remember, Jefferson had been elected in 1804 as a strict constructionist. Now Jefferson is taking the power of the presidency one step farther. Here's a look at the Embargo Act. The Indians have formed into a confederation during the Jefferson administration. Remember, at the end of the Washington administration, we had seen the Indians defeated at Fallen Timbers. Well, the Indians now have fallen under the charismatic leadership of Tecumseh. Now, Tecumseh believes that if he could unite all of the Indian nations, he could kick the Americans out of Illinois and Indiana territories. Now, to prevent this, Jefferson is going to ask Congress to pass the Non-Intercourse Act. Now, basically what this act says is that Americans are prohibited from moving into parts of Indiana and the Illinois territory without the approval of the federal government. Now again, for a strict constructionist, this is increasing the power of the federal government over the states. Well, this is the last slide for Lesson 9. We're going to start Lesson 10 tomorrow. Lesson 10 is going to deal with the Madison administration and the War of 1812.